Okay, well, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. So, as we continue to have these community forums across the community, and tonight's our second community forum, I just want to really kind of talk a little bit about what the intent of these meetings are. And the intent of these meetings are to come to you, whether that's in this room or whether it's streaming live and wherever you can be at. We, at Shawnee Public Schools, prioritize how we honor your choice. And the way that we honor your choice is by being respectful of the fact that you made a choice to be part of Shawnee Public Schools, whether that is a parent, whether that's a faculty member, or even a student who may be watching us tonight, that you made a choice. And so we thank you for that, and how we respect that, how we honor that is coming to you and to listen to you. I really only have two goals for tonight. The first goal would be that when you leave here or turn off of your live stream, is that you were heard. That you had an opportunity to speak. You had an opportunity to give us your feedback and allow us to hear your voice. And the second thing is that you feel valued. That we ensure that when you do speak, it's not just going in one ear and out the other. I know you can't see it on the live stream, but we have Sherry Pennington here with us tonight, who is taking all of these notes, compiling all these, whether it's from last night's community forum, tonight's community forum, or even next week's, that we are going to act on these things. We can't necessarily promise you we'll comply with every single thing, because it is a big picture, but we will compile this data. We'll take it back to our teams, and I promise you and I assure you that it will be evaluated. So if we leave here accomplishing those two goals tonight, then it's a win. If you feel heard and you feel valued, then it's a win. We won't have all the answers to give you tonight. There's no way that we can possibly be ready because again, it takes time. It takes the time to look at it, it takes the time to value it, it takes the time to go through those things, but they will be looked at and valued. So that's what we mean when we say honoring your choice. This is our vision that we live by. It's how we operate. It's everything that we do at Shawnee Public Schools, is we honor the choice of our community, honor the choice of our parents, honor the choice of our staff members and our students. So before we get started, I want to let you know who I am, because I'm not just standing here as your superintendent tonight. I'm standing here as one of you. I'm standing here as someone who lives in this community, live right down the road from here. It's a short trip to get here this evening. But I am your neighbor. I feel the same things that you feel. I'm impacted the same way that you're impacted. That little sweet, innocent girl that's up there with her hands on her face, who's not very sweet and innocent if you got to know her. But she goes to school right along with your child. She goes to school right down the road here at Will Rogers. Very proud to have a Will Rogers student and all of the opportunities that she's going to be afforded because she's a Will Rogers student. But I'm a parent, just like you're a parent. So I'm not just your superintendent, I'm your neighbor. I live here. I go to church here. My kids go to school here. I shop here. The things that you do, I also do as well. So this is who I really am. I'm just a human who's not a superhero in any way. I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to tell you that the only way we can move Shawnee Public Schools forward is by events like this. By listening to you, by hearing you, by growing together. Because I do believe this. I do believe that we all have the same goal. And that goal is that we want Shawnee Public Schools to be better. We want to continue pushing this forward. Do I have all the answers? No, but I believe in this room and out there, if we work together, we will find the answers of how to accomplish that. So I come to you as a husband, a father, as an employee that works with plenty of tremendous staff members, some in this room, some who are probably watching. I work with them, and I want to work alongside you as the community as well, to continue moving and pushing our school district forward. Because our goal is to become the best in Pot County, then to become the best regionally, and then to become the best in the state. And the only way we're going to accomplish that is working together. So tonight we're going to have a conversation. But before we do that, I just want to kind of quickly go over some meeting norms with you. This is just a way that we can operate to ensure that we honor everybody's choice who came out tonight and listened. We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to participate and speak. I hope that you will speak. I'm asking for your voice. Even if you spoke last night and you're here again, I'm asking that you speak again, because we have plenty out there that are watching and listening, and we need to hear it again. As I give you the mic, if you would just kind of limit those conversations, if at all possible, to 2 minutes, because again, we want to let everyone have the opportunity to speak tonight as we go around the room. But if we can adhere to these meeting norms and be respectful as we go through those, then I'm sure by the end of the night we're going to have a great outcome. So tonight's topics is really, we got 3 things that we're going to go through. The first one is, what more can Shawnee Public Schools do to prepare for a successful future? So when I say more, I'm a firm believer, as many are in this room, that Shawnee Public Schools does a tremendous job and does so much stuff for our students. But we know we can get better. So what are those things we need to start doing to ensure that happens? What are the things that we need to stop doing to ensure that happens? And what can we continue doing? So if we look at it and keep that in frame, start, stop, and continue, how do we propel Shawnee forward? And then in the middle, why are we going to talk about facility improvements? Well, because on April 19th, we were devastated as a community, not just Shawnee Public Schools, by the tornado. And we're all together, whether that's personally or as a school district, rebuilding from that. And while I always say the tornado is a devastation that we wish that never happened, it did happen. So how do we turn that devastation into an opportunity? And we can do that if we act with 2 things. Number 1, a long-term plan and a vision. And number 2, being good stewards of taxpayers' dollars. That we don't just spend money because in trying to put back what we had, but we do it with intentionality. So we want to talk a little bit about facilities. And then lastly, if there's anything else that we just need to say tonight, we'll have an opportunity to do that as well. So as we get started, I'm going to be done speaking, and I really want to hear from you. And again, like I said, some of you all spoke last night, and I appreciate that. We have a lot out there that are watching us tonight that we want to ensure here's what we have to say and how we're acting on those things. So we're going to get started tonight with that topic number 1. How can we move Shawnee Public Schools forward? What more can we do? What can we start doing? What can we stop doing? What can we continue doing? What are those opportunities that still lie ahead of us as we take this input, reflect on it, evaluate it, compile it? What are those things that we can do? So I'm going to stop, and hopefully we have some comments and some questions about that. Who wants to go first? Michael, thank you.
So I said this last night, but one of the main things that I saw when I moved my family here in 2018, and one of the reasons that I became a school board member for Pleasant Grove Schools, was there's an opportunity gap that's offered in Shawnee versus what students have the ability to get elsewhere. So we moved from Fort Worth, and when we moved here, my youngest son was in 7th grade. He was already taking algebra. When we moved here, his only opportunity to finish algebra was to be in a classroom of 8th graders at Shawnee Middle School. And then the next year, he had to take geometry through Odyssey Ware on a laptop, and that was not very good for him. Additionally, my older son was a junior. He was taking Physics C in Fort Worth, and when he moved here, that was not an option that he had at the high school. And so one of the things that I would like to see as a community is that we try to figure out what are the ways that we can really close those opportunity gaps to give our most robust and great students the opportunity to excel and become everything that they can.
Thank you. And as we think about that, this isn't the first time we've heard this feedback, and we appreciate that feedback. As we think about it, how can we as Shawnee Public Schools not only meet the need, because we pride ourselves on meeting individual needs. We have conversations on our executive team all the time about, IEP students and ensuring what individual education plans actually look like. Well, we believe that all students deserve an IEP. Every educational experience should be individualized. Whether that's a student with special needs all the way to your student who is just enrolled in public schools all the way up to your advanced coursework. Every student should have their opportunities, and we are able to start with a lot of that with our ICAP work that we do at Shawnee Public Schools. And again, we're a leader in this region with what we're able to do with ICAP and how we prepare those courses to ensure that they're taking the right courses but provide opportunities for students as well. I think that's really important. Who else has a comment? Coach, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I guess, actually, tag on last night, I think we're doing some good things, I think we're doing it the right way. On that part, having these meetings and getting information to us, I think some of the things that we can look to is maybe bringing the drug dogs back into the schools and things like that, and get those things going so, if they are in there and, we can get those things out, try to get that stuff cleared up.
So again, as we think about it, Coach James says, getting our drug dogs back in school and providing opportunities to ensure that our schools are safe and secure. And, we agree with you and we second that. Number one priority always is that our schools are safe and secure. And I want to talk a little bit about school safety and recent events that have happened. And as we think about the tragedy that happened just not too far down the road at Choctaw, that is another tragedy that we would pray never happens. But we took that as an opportunity to reflect on our own safety and procedures and our protocols. So we met with our local law enforcement, met with, as we think about playing at OBU this season, met with OBU officials, met with our own administrators to ensure that when they come to our games on Friday night, that they're safe and secure, that we took additional measures. So as you all know, we open up at OBU on Friday, and when we do that, we're going to have the opportunity to see enhanced law enforcement. We'll see some new procedures that we'll be releasing tomorrow to the community to ensure that we're taking every action we possibly can and erring on the side of safety as we move forward. And then we think about our buildings. What are those opportunities that we need to think about for safety in our own buildings? There's plenty of opportunities to serve and to give comments on that. We have building safety committees as well as district level safety committees. And we eagerly and plead with you to participate in those opportunities and serve and give your input on how can we make sure that our students are as safe and secure as possible. Like I said, my own daughter goes to this school. So when we think about, I know your anxieties and I know your worries that you feel every single time you drop that student off, and that shouldn't be a parent's first thought is my kid going to be safe at that school system? So we're going to put in everything that we can do in our power to ensure that happens, whether that's a morning recess, in a classroom, or on a ball field. We're going to take every measure to ensure that our students are safe and secure. We've gotten a lot of feedback already from community members and staff members. Those things don't fall on deaf ears, and we're compiling those and taking them to our safety committee as well and evaluating those suggestions. So I think we have time for a couple more comments on this topic. What other things can Shawnee Public Schools start, stop, or continue doing as we think about how do we improve our school system? Sure.
Got a bunch. I think one of the things we can do as a community is stop, and I don't know, it's not so much the teachers or anything, stop talking how bad Shawnee schools are. They're good schools. We've got great schools here in Shawnee. We got a new one in town, but Shawnee Public Schools is good. My kids go here, I went here, got a bunch of friends here. There's a bunch of people in this room right here that graduated from Shawnee High School. It hadn't changed. You know, the kids have changed, and we got new kids, but the culture hasn't changed. And when you're on Facebook and you're Twitter and whatever else out there, and we're talking back, the other kids see that. And we're a good school system. I really believe that. I'd be out of here in a heartbeat. And I think any teacher that says that, you know, that thinks that will be out too. You know, I mean, we are a good school system.
And again, for those that are out there on watching this live stream, you know, what Coach James was talking about is exactly how do we portray Shawnee Public Schools, and how do we all participate in that and play into that as well. And one thing that, you know, we're doing as a district is trying to be visible, trying to come to you, to make these a regular opportunity to speak, and a regular opportunity to share in that work as we proceed forward. So I appreciate that comment, because if you have anything that you need to feel like you're voicing, I encourage you to just let us know. Take the opportunity. We all have emails. We all have phone numbers. I have an office, but I'll even come to you just like tonight. If there's an opportunity for us to get better, we want to get better. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But we will make every effort to continue to improve. So if you want to be a part of the solution, take advantage of these opportunities and allow us to work on it together. You know, everyone has a right to their opinion and their interpretations, but come to us and allow us to help provide some information on those opinions and those interpretations. You know, I'm not saying that ours is right and yours is wrong. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I am trying to say is I think together we can come to an understanding. Together we can work through that. And everybody should want what's best for the kids. And if we focus on that, if everyone's focus is what's best for the kids, we'll continue to move Shawnee forward. And that's what we need to keep reminding ourselves. So all of us are in this room and out there watching because we want what's best for Shawnee kids and every opportunity afforded to them. So, does anyone else have any comments? Yes, sir.
Just a little take on your slide there. What can Shawnee as a community do to help you as a school prepare for successful? What do you need from this community?
So the question was, what can the community do? You know, we always think about what can Shawnee schools do for the community, but what can the community do for Shawnee Public Schools? And I would answer in this way. You know, we have a community engagement committee of how we're engaging those committee members and how we're engaging our community. I would also say partnerships. And, you know, when we say partnerships, we don't necessarily mean, you know, handouts. We're not looking for donations. We're truly looking for partnerships and collaboration between the community. And then lastly, you know, if we talk about what can your parents do, be involved. Come and be a part of the school system. Have those opportunities, and we talk about a lot of opportunities that are going to be coming back to the school system to come up and be visible for your kids, whether that's muffins with mom or donuts with dad or granolas with grandma or whatever it is. You know, be involved and be a part of your student's life. I think that if you have a question, we have a resource, or if you have a need, we have a resource that we're able to meet, because we do have very strong partnerships within our community. You know, we continue to do that partnership with our local law enforcement to keep your students safe. We continue to have a partnership with Community Renewal to meet those students' individual needs. Gateway and all of the other community partners that we have. But personally, be involved in your student's life. I think that's, if I was going to ask anything of our community, I'm not asking you to volunteer to sell popcorn, but I am asking you to come up and see your kids at school, and we want you to be a part of that education. We want you to be inside of our walls. There is no There is no us and y'all. It's all of us together. How can we work together through that?
I think, excuse me, I think we need to start praising the teachers more. I think in a worldwide way, we only see the negatives when things happen with teachers. And that's just not right. I mean, I've nearly been in this school system with a child for almost 20 years. And most of the teachers in the schools that I've been with are my good friends now. I mean, they're wonderful, mostly women. And they go above and beyond every day. I mean, they're there 7 o'clock in the morning, they're there till 7 o'clock at night sometimes later, and they are working all day long just to see what more they can do for each individual child. And I would like to see more recognition of the teachers. I understand we have Teacher of the Year and one teacher gets selected, but you know what? There's 50 more in each place that need recognition too. So I would like to see that start.
I think that's a great suggestion. If y'all didn't been able to hear that comment out there, it was just how can we recognize all the great things that our teachers do? And I second that, because when you think about one of the most needed jobs and demanding jobs in our society, what else would we think than a teacher? I mean, fundamentally, there's nobody that's successful that didn't have that positive teacher influence in their lives. Whether that's a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, a president of the United States, doesn't matter. Everybody had a teacher. Some public schools, some private schools, some homeschools, it doesn't matter. Those teachers in a young person's life is the one that's making that difference. And we have a room full of them here. We have a district full of them in Shawnee Public Schools. Of people who are dedicated, who give their time and their passion, their lives to our students. And, we do a great job of telling them how much we appreciate them. And I challenge everyone in the community as well as myself to not just tell them, but show them. How can we show our teachers how much we appreciate them? How can we show our teachers what they mean to us? Because I know my third grader has a tremendous teacher right now. Comes home every evening talking about her teacher. I wish she talked about her dad as much as she talks about her teacher. But every evening she comes home and is so proud to be in her classroom. And it's our responsibility to show them what they mean to us. Because I do believe Shawnee Public Schools has buildings full of educators who truly care about the individual students. And I'm proud to serve alongside of them. Any last comments? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Last year I had a situation where I was grading papers, going through my grade book, and I had one class where more kids were failing than passing. And my class wasn't difficult. It was mostly that. At that point, it was mostly all open book stuff. They just weren't doing it. So I got angry about it, and then sat down and talked with them, and I put away the academics for a minute and asked them why they weren't doing anything. And one kid raised his hand and he said, "We feel hopeless. We don't feel like we have a future." And we discussed that for a while, and then when you mentioned partnership, we have a great partnership at Shawnee with Gordon Cooper, and Larry and I have seen successes. We talked with kids that have gotten into Gordon Cooper or gotten into mechanics or any kind of trade afterwards, and they excel. These are kids who were sleeping on their desks or getting in trouble at school, and they can't succeed in that environment. But if we had an opportunity for, say, those 8th graders when they're 13 years old to do something hands-on, and we're taking away from all the academic stuff, but if they had more of an opportunity to go, hey, wait a minute, maybe I could do that for the rest of my life. Maybe I could, and they realize they're making $20 an hour or whatever, doing an actual trade versus minimum wage for the rest of their lives. But I think if they realize that at an earlier age, by the time a lot of them hit 16, 17, if they haven't been saved by GTA already, then a lot of those kids are already out. They don't all have great parents that are pushing them to do high-end academics and stuff like that. So some of these kids, that's their only hope right now. They need that hope at 13, 14 years old, as opposed to waiting until they're 17 to find out what they're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, and really at Shawnee Public Schools, we're starting to live by a saying of 3 E's. We want our students to either enroll, employ, or enlist. That's our goal. We want our students to be employed when they leave Shawnee Public Schools, to where when they walk across the stage or even before that, they see a future, that they have some hope, that they know what comes next. So we want them to be employed, or we want them to enroll. And everybody thinks, well, enroll means college. Well, enroll doesn't necessarily mean college. Enroll could be enroll into a career tech system, whether they've already been in it in 11th and 12th grade, or even how they can enroll in it to their 13th year. But they go into some kind of trade school to get the skills they need to be a marketable employee, or they enlist, because we are strong advocates for our military and the service of the military and the opportunities that our military affords some of our students. So as we think about that, how do we as a school system continue to ensure that we're giving them a hope, a future, to either be employed, enroll, or enlist? Because if we can make sure that our kids are doing one of those 3 things, we're going to be successful. And we have to provide that hope that they can see that future ahead of them. So I appreciate those comments. I'm going to go to the next topic. And as we go to the next topic, it's about facility improvements. Again, Shawnee Public Schools is going through some change right now. We're hit by a tornado. And that tornado, rough estimates, is going to be between $20 and $30 million in damages across our district. We have 7 different sites, fixing to be 8 sites with students in them, that every single one of them got touched in some way. Now the magnitude was different. High school got hit a little bit harder than the schools like Sequoia and Will Rogers on the other side of town. But every building, we're talking, what is some of that damages? We have 5 different roof systems that have to be completely ripped off and replaced. Over 150 HVACs that are going to have to be replaced. SECC was completely, not only a new roof, but all of their windows were busted out. We have a front entrance. If you're an SECC parent out there, you're asking, when is our car line going to get back to normal? And we're going to have a true front entrance again. Those doors have been ordered. They're on their way. It's a 10-week lead time. We ordered them about 4 weeks ago. So hopefully our goal is sometime around fall break that we're going to be able to put those doors in the SECC. We lost our whole transportation building. Has to be demolished down to the ground. We're having to lease a facility here in town, and we're thankful for that lease. But priority number 1 is to ensure that our essential operations continue. We have to have a transportation building. We transport a large number of students every single day, and paying a lease right now is, I have a saying that we're burning money to stay warm. It's kind of like rent. You're not getting anything else back from it. So you're going to see our transportation building being tore down. We've been working with architects already to design a new one to get it built back. Because we're spending those dollars in a lease or in a rent and not getting any return on those money. So again, 2 focuses when we talk about facilities, right? Long-term vision, that we improve what our offerings are for our students, and that we're good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Well, paying a lease on a monthly basis is not a good steward. And it's the only option right now, but we want to try to make every effort to get rid of that option as soon as possible. A lot of the damage was done to our auxiliary buildings at the high school. What is that? That's band, who lost their practice facility. Fortunately enough, with football being played at OBU, we have the opportunity to be right there on the field. But band in the Brackeen building lost their robotics, lost their home. And you talk about how do we engage all students. It's not just about football, not just about basketball, it's not just about those extracurriculars, it's how do we engage all students. And band, ag, who doesn't have a home right now because of their building. Like I said, robotics, tennis lost their entire facility that we need to focus on as well. Jim Thorpe Stadium, an iconic stadium, we lost our whole press box. It's gone. It's not even there. Goalposts bent. Locker room doesn't have HVACs on top of it right now. Baseball field. We talk about Shawnee baseball. We know what that means to not only this community but to the state. We host every single state baseball tournament class 4A down. That's a lot of revenue that comes into our community because those communities eat here, rent hotels here. So when we talk about being good stewards of taxpayer dollars, we're not just talking about our dollars. We're responsible for the Shawnee dollars as well, because that is a lot of revenue that comes into our community. So all of these things are priorities. However, it's a long process, just like you have a process on your local personal insurance claims from how you were affected. It's similar, just on a very large scale with us. It's a process. So things don't happen overnight, but we are making good progress. We did get finally an insurance temporary initial check in at the end of July that we've been able to really start pushing some work forward, and that's the work that you're seeing being done now. So as we look through facilities, my question is this an opportunity to do something different with facilities? Is this an opportunity to expand our offerings? Is this an opportunity to allow for better things to happen with kids? Because regardless of what facility you're talking about, it's about opportunities for kids. All students, not just a few. So we need to keep that in mind as we move forward. So I would entertain any comments or suggestions that we have how we can accomplish that. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, thank you.
So I would like to say to you, because I know that you were single-handedly responsible for some of the improvements that we've seen since you came into our district. We've got new floors in most of our elementary schools. We've had some updates. As someone that was previously in facilities with a lot of deferred maintenance, I appreciate your focus on that. But one of the questions I guess that I would ask is, what are the ways in which we are going to make sure that our facilities continue to improve, to be clean and safe and efficient environments? Because those are the things that are going to help our academic performance versus dungeon-like atmospheres and those kinds of things.
So again, I think part of our responsibility as a school district is to ensure that when kids come into buildings, they feel welcomed, and they feel safe, and that they can take pride into what they walk through, that they're not walking through dilapidated buildings, because it matters. It not just matters to the appearance, it matters to the safety, but it also matters to that student to be able to walk down hallways and not see paint falling off or not seeing ceiling tiles fall down. So all of that matters. The tornado threw us a curveball and set us back. We were making a lot of good progress, working very diligently as we tackled all of the issues of some deferred maintenance as we were working through that. But we were accomplishing great things. The tornado set us back, but again, it's going to launch us forward too. And so, we've been able to improve our janitorial services. We've been able to bring new things in, keep our buildings a little bit tidier and taken care of and well cared for, and make them feel more welcoming. So we're excited about those opportunities as we move forward. I've been asked this question a lot, and I just want to address it now. Individuals have asked me in the community as I've been talking, and I've heard, well, where's the new elementary? Right? We hear that all the time. Where is the new elementary? It's a bond issue 2016. Where's the new elementary? I want to share our community and let our community know that the new elementary hasn't been forgotten. We were able to already have architectural drawings, renderings. We already have the ability to go out for bids on all of those things. So it's not something that the money's been spent or we didn't plan for it accordingly. It's there. But at the same time, guys, there's only so much capacity We have a $20 to $30 million reconstruction going on right now. So we have paused the new elementary until we have the opportunity to get through some of this tornado recovery. If you're going, well, why can't you do that simultaneously? Well, because there's only so much capacity. There's only so much opportunity to handle within the district to handle those type of projects. So as we think about it, you know, those funds have been earmarked, those funds are there. But as we honor the choice of our community, we have to think about how do we move forward with these different type of projects. Is this the time that we continue to enhance our buildings, and what opportunities lie in for us to enhance those buildings as we work through those things? Sherry?
Someone online asked you to talk about Stucker.
Great question. What a historical and important building, Stucker Complex. You know, as we think about what did Stucker provide? Stucker provided so much for our high school, not just in a practice gym or not just in a wrestling facility. It provided our safe room, which, if you think about our safe room, guys, April 19th at about 11:30 at night, I was walking through our safe room. After the tornado went through, after everything was damaged, there was some news crews that showed up to Shawnee Public Schools, and we went into our safe room and walked through it. Fortunately, we were very blessed. Tornado happened at night when there wasn't students there. There wasn't staff there. But if there was, would those staff and students been safe? Absolutely. Guys, you wouldn't even have been able to tell that our safe room was hit by a tornado on the inside. On the outside, a whole building was laying on top of it. And you think about that and you're like, well, I heard that the safe room is going to have to be torn down. And you're absolutely right. Well, if the safe room was safe, why would you tear down a safe room? Well, let me give you this analogy. When you buy a car, those cars are designed to keep you safe. They have safety features in them, seat belts, airbags. They're designed around your passengers. And you get in a big wreck. Did the car do its job? Did it keep you safe? The airbags deployed, the seat belt worked. The crumple zone went around you as you were sitting there in the driver's seat. Absolutely. You walked away from the car wreck. Is that car designed to do it twice? Can you get back in that car and take it after that catastrophic wreck and just go drive it around the corner? The answer is obviously no. I'm not talking about a little fender bender. I'm talking about a big wreck, an F2 tornado. So when you talk about our safe room, a building landed on top of that safe room. It literally twisted some of the rafters in the top of that building. Is that building still standing today? Yes. Could you walk through it and be perfectly safe? Yes. Could it stand up to another F2 tornado? I don't know. And not just me, Dr. Espolt, who's just an educator. State board certified engineers don't know. They came out and studied our safe room. We're actually in studies across the nation now because we're one of the only direct hit infrastructures, and engineers kind of geek out on that stuff. But they don't know. They can't stamp it. And y'all at the beginning of this saw a picture of my family. If I'm not willing to go and put my own family in a safe room and say, you're going to be safe, I'm sure not going to put your kids in there. So does the safe room need to be torn down? Yes. And are we going to build it back? Even better. And as we design a new wrestling facility, we're going to involve those people that are necessary to be helping us design the new wrestling facility. And we're going to get a practice facility. When is that going to happen? It's going to be a bit. It's going to be a hot minute. Why? Well, because you have to architect, you have to construction manager, you have to go out for bids. And again, if anyone is in the construction field, lead times aren't tomorrow. We're not running down to Lowe's and picking up the parts. So it's going to be a bit. Will we build it back? It's going to be better than ever. So when we talk about Stucker, we've made alternative plans for our basketball players, for our wrestlers, to have an opportunity to practice. You know, we lost that facility for our volleyball, for our teams. So we've had to work through all of those processes. But when we talk about a safe room, was it safe? I'm not just telling you it was safe. I encourage you to go watch the videos from that night and see us walk through it. Would it be safe again? I'm not willing to risk my kid's life on it. I'm sure not going to willingly risk yours. So we will rebuild it, and we'll rebuild it even better than it was. Thank you, Charity. Sure.
I'll go on the wrestling. I know a lot of people associate me with wrestling. My thing is, I want the stuff to be built yesterday. I mean, I'll be honest with you. That wiring building. But after talking to Dr. Espolt, listening to him, one of the things is, transportation is number one. I'm not very smart. I wouldn't have thought that. I'd have thought wrestling number one. But that's why I think these meetings are important, that we come and we have to find out where we're at on these things, and we can, listen and make those decisions. He's assured me wrestling is number 2. We're right in there somewhere. I won't put him on the spot. But it's up there. So hopefully we can get that done. But my thing is, what about the football stadium, the stands? What's the prognosis on that? And the baseball stands?
Yeah.
So I guess that's my question.
Good question. Great question. So if you didn't hear it online, Stuckers is a priority. Where we rank that priority, I'm not going to commit to today. But as we listen online, the question was, how about football stadium? Why aren't we playing football there? Well, the immediate damage is obvious. But what does the rebuild look like? So, number one, the stands themselves. People used to build things different back in the day. And those stands were built back in the day where they can withstand a lot more than an F2 tornado. And so they've been checked out by an engineer. They're perfectly safe. We will put a press box, better than what we had, if you had been to a Jim Thorpe Stadium lately. So we're going to be building back a press box. We're currently working on that. There was just no way to do it by football season. It was impossible. So, fortunately enough, we've got a community partner like OBU who, with gracious and open arms, said, come to us, we'll help you. So the goal with that is, how can we build back a press box, concession stand and ticket booth, football locker rooms? Optimistically, do not hold me to this, optimistically we'll have it ready by hopefully soccer season. That's the goal. That's the goal. There's a lot of things that have to happen just right to make that happen, but that's the goal. Baseball took a lot more damage. If you look at the baseball, if y'all drove by the baseball field, we lost everything from our light poles to the outfield fence to the dugouts to the backstop to the concession stand needs to be reskinned. So it's a lot of damage in here. I have made this promise. And if I break a promise, you can run me out tar and feathered. But I have said this, March 1, we'll be playing baseball on our baseball field. And here's why. I think it's important for our community because we don't have any other place to play. If you think about football, we are very gracious that OBU doesn't play on the same nights that our football team plays. Baseball's different. Baseball, they're playing every night all the time. We are, and so is OBU, playing the same season. And so when we think about it, we were able to move our softball players down to Fire Lake and utilize that partnership. And we appreciate the tribe for helping us out with that. They don't have a baseball field that we can play baseball on. So if we don't get done by March 1, we're taking opportunities away from kids. And that's what's not acceptable. When we're losing opportunities for kids, when we can't find alternative homes for our athletes and for our extracurricular activities and engagement for our students. So we appreciate OG&E, who's partnered with us to help us with the light poles and the lights. We appreciate some local partnership, Indico Metals, who's helping us with a lot of the metal work, fence, indoor dugouts, those kind of things. We just have a tremendous amount of outpouring of people who are just saying, what can we do for you? So baseball, March 1. we're going to be throwing out that first pitch. Not me, because that'd be ugly sight. But we'll be filling out that first pitch on March 1, and a lot of work has to happen, but we're going to get there. And a lot of people, including a lot of people in this room, are going to work day and night for the kids. So, yes.
Okay, so you're gung-ho about baseball. What about swim?
Sure.
I'm going to beat a dead horse here, but swim, in case people around here don't know, we lost our pool. YMCA is closed. We do not have a pool. We are lucky right now that it's 100 degrees outside and we can swim outside at the splash. 2 weeks, that's all we have left as a pool. 2 weeks. And our swim season is done unless we have an alternative. The splash will be closed unless we have some more hot weather. In case people online don't know this, Shawnee has a swim team that has won state for 2 years in a row. I don't see how we can win 3 when we don't have a pool. I understand that Shawnee cannot afford a pool, but I would like to see a little bit, and I know it's happening, because I know the coach. She has been working since April 19th to find us a pool. And I know she's been working with you, and I know she's been working with the AD, but it would be nice to have swim right up there with football and baseball and tennis and soccer. That's my opinion.
Sure. Well, I don't think it's just your opinion, honestly. Because, and if you didn't hear it online, our swim students deserve the exact same opportunities our football boys do, and our baseball, and our softball, and our tennis. As we think about what is that experience like for that kid, that's what should drive us. It's not monetary. It's not how big our stadiums are. It's not how much money. It's every single individual kid. We have over 3,200 kids in Shawnee Public Schools. So our responsibility is that we engage them and we provide opportunities for them. It doesn't matter if it's swim. It doesn't matter if it's flag court. It doesn't matter if it's band or ag or robotics or drones or whatever it is. We have that responsibility and we don't take it lightly. So, in regards to swim, thank you to the City of Shawnee for allowing us to use their facility and partner with them. As we look long term, we're looking at surrounding facilities anywhere close. As if y'all don't know, OBU has closed their pool because of cost and because of the issues that they're seeing. YMCA has told us it's going to be over 50 weeks before they open back up. So we're looking at sometime this time next year because of, again, lead times are not tomorrow. And then we look at partnering schools. Well, and the only school in this area that even has a pool is Hera. And they have their own swim teams and their own community needs. And so we're working on it. We continue to work on it. We've reached out as far as Norman and Midwest City and different surrounding communities to sit there and say, what can we work out? Because you're right. We can't just spin up a pool. I mean, it's just not even, it's not just monetary. It's just not even possible at this point. But moving forward, what can we look at doing? I think that's what's important. How can we keep a long-term vision, whether that's a stronger partnership with the Y, whether that's an opportunity to see what does that look like, because we do respect and honor our swim team. We're very proud of them. Back-to-back state champions. That doesn't happen in sports very often, and so to see that, we're so proud of them. But even if they weren't state champions, seeing those kids get fulfilled through that opportunity that we're providing, that other schools around us can't provide, we're holding on to that because we will always find Shawnee, it's a big enough school to provide those opportunities in a small field community that cares about every individual kid. That's who we are, and that's what we need to hang our hat on. So I'm going to kind of finish with this last comment. Anything else? anything else that you would like for us school leaders, and I appreciate my executive team. We got some administrators here. We got some teachers here. Anything else you would like for us to hear and know before we close this evening? Thank you.
I'd like to tack on to what you said earlier about appreciating the teacher. I don't think you can truly understand, unless you are a teacher or married to a teacher, that the commitment that they've made to your child, and it's not a 7:30 to 3:30 job. It's a calling. And they come home, they cry. They cry when other kids are shot at other schools. They cry. And we just need to, as a community, appreciate the calling and respect them. Goodness gracious, just respect the what you do and the amount of time, the amount of money, and what it's not an easy culture. And what you do and how you do it and the professionalism that you show is outstanding, and you should be commended on every part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And not just I appreciate you saying that. I think our teachers appreciate you saying that, and them understanding that our community does know and respect what they do every single day. Because, guys, it is, I would consider, I'm married to one, but I would consider it one of the toughest jobs there is out there. So I appreciate you saying that. Any last comments? Coach, did you have anything else?
I want to thank you guys for doing this, Dr. Espolt, all the administrators. I mean, I think it's a good deal. I think this is a great deal that we got. Show that you guys care. I mean, you're right behind us. You're ready. Let's get this thing turned around. I appreciate y'all doing this.
Thank you, Coach. And that's kind of how I want to close as well. As we close today, I want you to know that we really do honor your choice to be a part of Shawnee Public Schools. Whether you're a student, parent, staff member, community member, whatever stakeholder you are, we know you had a choice, and we respect and want to fill that cup back because you made that choice. We will have more of these, and we will continue. We have one more scheduled on Thursday, September the 7th, for our last one in this round, but we're going to do these quarterly to get out and to hear from you. We want you to have the opportunity to work with us. That's all we're asking. I am not a superhero superintendent. I don't have all of the answers, and I am the furthest thing from perfect. I make mistakes not only as a human and personally, I make mistakes professionally, and we all will. But when we make those mistakes, we promise you that we will be held accountable for those things and work with you to ensure that they're better moving forward. And that's all we ever can do. It's all we can do as a human. Just be better moving forward. And that's what we want to do as a school district. Be better moving forward. And to do that, we're asking you to work with us. We have two goals: to engage the community in an authentic and real level. Not just through lip service, but truly engage with you. And number two, build trust. We want you, when you send your kid to Shawnee Public Schools, to know that you can trust the school system to work with you and work right along with the parents to do what's right by your student. We'll work hard every single day to ensure that that happens. And we won't rest until that every single one of us assure that that happens. So I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being out there and streaming. And please reach out to us if you have any further comments. Email us, call us. I promise you, we'll look at them, we'll evaluate them, and we'll get back to you.
Dr. Espolt,
Yes, sir.
go over what you're gonna do for Friday night, safety?
Yeah, absolutely.
Going in?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Friday night, we'll put out a letter tomorrow to all parents, kind of outlining the expectations. We're working alongside OBU. They already have some of their own policies and procedures in place. One of those things to expect is, we'll have clear bags at the game as you walk in. We actually have our quarterback club who is getting a lot of those bags out. If you need one, they'll be available at the game as well. We'll have enhanced security procedures at the gate to ensure that when you come through the gate, you know that you're safe once you get through it. And then we'll have an enhanced law enforcement working alongside with OBU security and our local PD throughout the inside and outside of the stadium to ensure that everything is acting as it should be. When you come to the game on Friday, I want you to think about one thing: cheering on our young men and women, and not having to worry about looking over your shoulder. How can we be there and all be a community as we beat Seminole Chieftains, as we continue to cheer on our young men out there on the field and our ladies on the side? That's the only thing we need to be thinking about, not am I safe or not. So we've made every effort to enhance security procedures. Some I can say, some I can't say, right? Because there's always some things that we're doing behind the scenes as well. And I'll leave it at that with that, but we will be putting out a flyer or a memo to all of our parents tomorrow outlining those things.